Well, the Broncos lose to the Ravens 41-10. There are some silver linings, though, that I want to get to, even though Coach Payton says we got whooped. Welcome into your Denver Sports Daily for November 4th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel Vigil.
Would listen to Coach Payton yesterday after the Broncos lost 41-10, you would know that he put a lot of the blame on himself, the coaching staff, going out and saying, we got whooped, got beat in all three phases. The Denver Broncos knew that this was going to be their hardest test. Sean Payton talked about that a lot last week. And yeah, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, this entire Ravens offense alone is definitely one that makes you sit there and go, oh boy, these guys are real Super Bowl contenders. And what did we learn yesterday? The coaches thought that as well. We saw them go for it on fourth down, which you don't typically see, tend to see a team do that unless they know there's a pretty good gap between the two competitively. So like Coach Payton said, we got whooped. We got beat in all three phases. But how about some good things, some positive things as well? And we'll get to those, I promise. But let's hear from Courtland Sutton following the loss yesterday, talking about putting something on a stone. Take a listen.
Unfortunately, I would say that, yeah, you do need that learning curve. You do need to have that stove is hot, don't touch it moment. And I think that we had that moment today where it was like we had to learn that, you know, when the opportunity's there, we have to find a way to capitalize, you know. In those playoff games, you know, you sit there and you watch them and, you know, it's a play here and a play there that can completely, you know, change the momentum of a game. And I think that that's kind of what we saw today. We had ops that you know, I think that could have changed the momentum of the game. And, you know, you just have to learn from it. You know, it's all learning opportunity. It's all learning curve. And like I said, yeah, it's unfortunate we have to go through it, but you live and you learn from it. And the beautiful thing about it is we just reached halfway point of the season. I think that this team is growing callous, growing identity, growing in the learning pains, and I think that we're going to be in a really good spot moving forward and looking forward to being able to put this game to bed tomorrow and showing up next week ready to go get another divisional win.
Courtland Sutton knows all about the learning pains or the growing pains because we've seen it time and time again with every single team that he's unfortunately been a part of. But here's the difference between those past years and this year. You have a rookie QB. You have a very young team. Courtland Sutton being one of the older guys on this team. So the fact that we at all saw competition in the first half gives me hope that, one, the Broncos have finally found their franchise quarterback. They found the guy in the draft who is going to be able to help them for years to come. And Bo Nix is doing it all. He's the second Bronco in history with a rushing, receiving, and a passing touchdown all in one season. And we have seen it all. Courtland Sutton with a beautiful throw over to Bo Nix, who's not afraid to take some hits in order to take a touchdown. The other one is John Elway. So let's compare those two. I mean, come on. How could you not be somewhat excited about it? And Bo Nix's touchdown catch was the most improbable reception for a quarterback since, get this, 2018. That comes from Next Gen Stats. It had a 21.9% chance of being completed. I love that we have a quarterback who is willing to put everything on the line. We've seen him get better week after week after week. And yes, the Broncos may have gotten exposed on the defensive side of things, and maybe the running game wasn't as great as we thought, and they were having to throw. Maybe little Jordan Humphreys needs to figure out, you know, getting two hands with the ball. And trust me, there's a ton of videos out there in case you want to know. He's taking full responsibility for the interceptions that have now happened 2 weeks in a row. But we're finally seeing Bo Nix start to look really, really good. We're finally seeing Courtland Sutton for the first time in his career having back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. So there are some positives here, Broncos country. Look at them. Again, most people, I feel like, didn't really expect the Broncos to walk away victorious, but they hung in there for the first half, and I consider that to be a win. I know people aren't going to like to hear that. You want to get W's in that column, but this team has a lot of growing pains, like Courtland Sutton says. So let's take it as a good thing, and we'll see. I had actually asked on Twitter yesterday, and I think you can still go vote on it. So if you want to, who do people believe is the better team, the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs? And I feel like there were some mixed reviews, but overall, the poll said the Baltimore Ravens. So how will the Broncos fare against the Chiefs? Well, we're going to find out this weekend, of course, as they head to Arrowhead. So there's plenty of good stuff to come all week long. Of course, Sean Payton talking to the media here in just a few minutes. We'll have you guys up to date on everything on that. Coffee break, 12 p.m. Maryland Monday. Come hang out with us. James, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. We'll see how he's feeling, but I hope he's feeling positive about this Denver Broncos team. We will move on, though, to what's happening up there in Boulder with the CU Buffs, because they are, in fact, moving up in the coaches poll to number 21. So they move up 2 spots from number 23 to number 21. Travis Hunter was on College Game Day. They obviously didn't play this week, but he's still being featured down there in Texas because why? Oh, yeah, he's in the Heisman conversation. And also, CU could not have asked for a much better weekend while on their bye. Iowa State loses to Texas Tech, and Kansas State loses to Houston. So Colorado moves up to 3rd in the Big 12 standings. Honestly, it's a pretty good deal when it comes to those two and how Colorado can kind of fare now when we got everything going on. So yeah, I feel like you can't really complain too much. Also, they're taking on Texas Tech this upcoming weekend, and Big Noon Kickoff will be bringing the party to Lubbock ahead of that matchup at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. So exciting stuff all the way around for CU. And I'm curious, if you had to pick one, who would you pick? Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter if you're handing out the Heisman? Of course, there's obviously a lot of other quarterbacks who are kind of in the mix and wide receivers, but those two, since we're connected to CU, let me know in the comments, Travis or Shedeur. We will also, though, talk about my Rammies, go CSU, because they are going bowling after beating Nevada 38-21. So congratulations to the Rams. Happy they were able to get that 6th win and, of course, go bowling as well. Now with CU, we got 2 schools going bowling. Let's talk about the NBA real quick, because on Friday night, there was a big game for the Denver Nuggets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Well, Jamal Murray left the game on Friday, entering concussion protocol after colliding with Minnesota Timberwolves forward Julius Randle and Aaron Gordon during the 3rd quarter. While the Nuggets briefly thrived without the Blue Arrow, overcoming a 15-point deficit. I feel like we're talking about those deficits a lot with this Denver Nuggets team. They blew a 10-point lead late and proved just how important Jamal Murray is in losing 119-106 to the Wolves. There's not a lot to say about that loss. It really, really sucked. Michael Malone, I feel like, is under such a hot seat now with this Denver Nuggets team because of the way that they're losing. Again, we're talking 15-point deficits. We're talking 12-point deficits. It seems like time and time again, 20-point deficits this year. And yes, they're able to bounce back, but the energy that you have to do, it's almost impossible to try and win a game that way every single time. Nikola Jokic can't carry this team on its back. So it's a bit of a bummer, unfortunately, that they lose to the Wolves, but they do get the win against the Jazz on Saturday night. And they have a game tonight against Toronto. And we got your injury report for you because there's a few names on there that you're like, wait a second, what the heck? And probable is Aaron Gordon. Thank goodness. He's got a right knee contusion and a right calf inflammation, but he is probable. Vlatko Konkar, obviously doubtful. And then you got Jamal Murray, who is out, unfortunately, with that concussion protocol. So hopefully we're able to get him back. Deron Holmes II has that right Achilles tear. I always think it's funny when guys go on IR, but yet they still have to put him on the injury report. But the big one, obviously, being Jamal Murray. We're not sure how long he's going to be out, but we will keep you up to date at denversports.com as well. Now let's talk about the neighbors of the Denver Nuggets. They're roommates, I guess we should say, the Colorado Avalanche, because superstar defenseman Cale Makar was the NHL's best player in the month of October. The league announced Makar as the first star as a return to action for the 2024-2025 season, and it's Makar's first ever time snagging the top honor in the month. He had 4 goals and 15 assists, good for 19 points, and that's tied for the lead in the entire NHL, and he's doing it as a defenseman. Again, that's tied for the lead in the entire NHL, and he is doing it as a defenseman. Cale Makar is absolutely unbelievable. He's also just the second defenseman in NHL history to have points in 11 straight games to begin a new campaign. And the only other time that's occurred is with the legendary Bobby Orr, doing it all the way back in 1973 and 1974. Some good news ahead of the game tomorrow night, as the Avs will be taking on the Seattle Kraken, is that Turi Lehkonen has been activated from injury reserve. The 29-year-old has been recovering from shoulder surgery, which he had performed this past offseason, and it kept him out of the team's first 12 games of this campaign. This is really good news. The Avs have been dealing with so many injuries time and time again. Gabriel Landeskog being the name everyone's still circling of like, when is he going to come back? Al Nichushkin should be coming back here very soon. They've gone through so many different injuries, but getting Arturi Lehkonen back will hopefully be a nice step in the right direction for this Avalanche team, who truthfully is treading water now at this point. Like I said, they play tomorrow night against the Seattle Kraken. All right, we will move on to baseball, though, because last night, Major League Baseball announced the Defensive Award winners, and it was the second straight year that the same trio of Colorado Rockies was recognized for their standout play on defense. That includes third baseman Ryan McMahon, shortstop Ezequiel Tovar, and center fielder Brenton Doyle, who were all named finalists for the 2024 Gold Glove at their respective positions. But even better than 2023, this time both Tovar and Doyle were able to come away with hardware, which is amazing. They did not do that, obviously, back in 2023, so we were happy to finally see some respect being handed out to the Rockies. The last Rocky shortstop to win the award was actually Troy Tulowitzki in 2011, and Tulo's awesome defensive play won him 2 awards at the position. It's the only other time, though, a Rocky shortstop has won a Gold Glove. And at 23 years old, Tovar is the youngest shortstop in NL history to win the award. Doyle was the only Rockies player to win it last year, taking home the club's first ever Gold Glove in center field. And now he makes it back to back. So good news on that front when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Obviously, now they enter into the offseason until the spring and hopefully can bounce back from 2 back-to-back 100-game losing seasons. So how you guys feeling? I'm curious. How's everybody frustrated? Are we, struggling? What's the vibe right now? I'm very, very curious. Why is little Jordan Humphrey still playing? All right, so this is something we are going to get into on Coffee Break today with James Marilat. I'm talking about silver linings here with Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix looking really good. Little Jordan Humphreys is obviously still struggling, but do you keep him in the lineup, and do you have as many snaps for him this upcoming week against the Chiefs? That's a good question. We'll talk about that 12 o'clock today. To be, Bo Nix is the quarterback we've been looking for the past decade. Welcome to the good side of things, the positive side of things. Yes, they finally have their franchise quarterback, at least in my eyes, so I'm happy in yours as well. We need a couple players to really make us a contender. We need a wide receiver and or a tight end and outside linebacker. That is the main thing. This Denver Broncos team, they might have found their franchise quarterback, but boy, oh boy, does he need some help. So hopefully they are able to find him some help this offseason. And will they be buyers or sellers ahead of tomorrow's trade deadline? We will also get into that because, yes, tomorrow is it, you guys. Tomorrow's election day. Tomorrow is a trade deadline day. It's going to be full of news, and you're probably going to be tuning into your TVs, your computers, your screens, whatever it may be. Yeah, there's a lot tomorrow coming. So make sure you tune in right here at Denver Sports as well. Bo was not the problem yesterday. Amen. To quote Belichick, we're on to KC, and just maybe they'll leave little Jordan back in Denver. Is he the new, number one target? Is everybody just so frustrated with him? I'm curious. Is everybody mad at little Jordan Humphrey? Because personally, offensively, I feel like the Broncos did what I kind of thought they would do. Defensively, I thought they'd look a lot better. Riley Moss, I'm sorry, my friend. You got exposed. Devon Key, you really got exposed. There's tons to dive into there. If our receivers could catch, we would be a much better team. Yeah, the wide receivers are. Feel like they're the pinpoint for everybody right now. So we will talk about that at 12 p.m. Make sure you come hang out with us. Easily, Travis Hunter. I'm with you. I think Travis Hunter deserves to win the Heisman. What he's doing, playing both offensive and defensive snaps, is absolutely incredible. And he's an impactful player on both ends of the ball, catching touchdowns and stealing interceptions. I feel like you just got to give it to him too. So we'll see what ends up happening for the rest of the season. But if you are a CU fan, then you are definitely happy with Iowa State and K-State losing as well. I'm not disappointed with Bo. He's looking good every weekend. Sean is opening up the playbook for him to play his style of football. Defense didn't have a good game plan. Actually, my good friend Andrew Mason, somebody you guys might all possibly know from one of our best shows, Orange and Blue Today, he pointed out that Vance Joseph kind of almost told them the game plan, told the Ravens the game plan by saying you have to take away one thing. It's either passing or it's rushing. And what did they do? Well, yeah, they took away the rushing game, but that definitely said, all right, Ravens, I challenge you to throw the ball. And that's exactly what they did yesterday. And it did not go well. But you guys, that is going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. A quiet day here, you guys. We got to get back up and pump it up. And we're halfway through the season. Plenty of good stuff still to come. I will see you guys at 12 o'clock. James Marilat, hopefully he's in a good mood. And we will guys talk to you guys then. Have a wonderful Monday. If you're here in the Mile High City, stay safe with the snow. And we will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.